Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're looking at a highly objective, purely factual ranking of the absolute top AI agents operating right now in 2026. And look, we're not talking about those early chatbots that just give you a polite summary of a Wikipedia page. No way. We're talking about the heavy hitters, the best alternatives in the HyperAgent category. These are AIs that actually execute work from start to finish. So I'm going to guide you through this rapidly evolving landscape, break down exactly who the major players are, what they actually do best, and most importantly, which tool is going to give you the absolute most leverage in your day-to-day operations.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll quickly define the HyperAgent category. Second, we'll objectively rank the top alternatives for 2026. Third, we'll unpack exactly why Dash takes that #1 overall spot. And finally, we'll lay out a framework to match the perfect tool to your specific job.
All right, Section 1, the HyperAgent category explained. Let's get a handle on the massive shift currently happening in workspace AI.
This right here captures a literal paradigm shift. HyperAgent, which, was created by the makers of Airtable, popularized a very simple but incredibly powerful idea. The idea was this. Let's stop just asking an AI for suggestions, and let's start demanding that it actually does the work. When you hand a true HyperAgent an assignment, it doesn't just spit back a text outline. Nope. It fires up a real browser, uses its own compute, and it researches, drafts, builds, and then delivers a completely finished deliverable. Whether that's a whole website, a slide deck, a dashboard, or some deep research doc, the output is a finished, ready-to-use thing. And the tools we're looking at today, the ones truly worth calling alternatives in this space, they all execute on that exact same finished work promise.
But you might be wondering, if the original incumbent is so good at this, why is there an entire market of alternatives? Well, it really all boils down to the shape of the deployment. HyperAgent operates as this fleet of per-project task agents with transparent per-project pricing. You assign a project, it spins up an agent, the agent does the job, and boom, done. But modern teams, we're seeing they want something a bit different. They want that same raw execution power, for sure, but shaped as an always-on teammate living right inside Slack. Or maybe they need a fully local, self-hosted agent that they control entirely on their own servers. Or maybe just a dedicated browser copilot for super deep research. It's that huge demand for different shapes of deployment that blew the 2026 field wide open.
We're moving right along to Section 2, the 2026 Alternatives Ranking. We're going to objectively evaluate the competitors ranked 2 through 9.
Before we name names, it's completely crucial to understand our methodology here. Right below our #1 overall pick, the rest of the field is objectively ordered by pure user volume. How many people are actively using each product right now? Because we're leaning on raw popularity for these spots, you're going to see some massive coding and browsing tools sitting really high on this list. Now, even though their shape is pretty different from your standard business teammate in, say, marketing or ops, their sheer scale and their utility in the market is absolutely undeniable. It is just fascinating to look at these heavy hitters, so let's walk through this matrix. Coming in at #2, we've got Perplexity Comment. This is Perplexity's AI native browser, complete with an agent sitting right in your sidebar. Its absolute home turf is research. It provides beautifully cited answers and deep dives on literally every page. Then, at numbers 3 and 4, we have OpenAI Codex and Claude Code by Anthropic. These two are absolute giants in the developer world. They live right in your terminal and your code base to do actual software engineering. At #5, we see OpenClaw. This is a massive open source project, a local first agent that you host yourself, and it keeps all its context as plain files right on your disk. #6 is Victor, which is a genuinely fantastic managed product that lives in Slack and Teams. Honestly, it's the closest head-to-head peer to our #1 pick. And rounding out the rest of the list, we've got the self-hosted and open source powerhouses. Hermes by Noose Research, which is an always-on persistent daemon. Buzz by Block, essentially an open workspace where humans and agents share channels. And finally, QM, Y Combinator's open source multiplayer harness for running an entire company's agents. Every single one of these brings a wildly distinct and powerful strength to the table. If we kind of zoom out and synthesize all of that, you can clearly see how this market has naturally segmented into 3 distinct deployment shapes. First, you've got your developer tools like Codex and Claude Code, built strictly for engineers shipping code. Then you have the massive self-hosted and open source category. That's OpenClaw, Hermes, QM, and Buzz, where you run, operate, and build all the governance completely yourself. And third, you have the workspace collaborators like Victor, designed specifically to operate inside the chat channels where business teams are actually communicating. So what this brilliantly illustrates is that these aren't just direct one-to-one competitors going at each other's throats. They've really evolved into highly specialized utilities.
All right, section 3. Why Dash ranks number 1. Let's look at why it completely dominates end-to-end execution.
So here it is. Dash, built by the workflow company Process Street, takes our number 1 overall spot. Why? Because Dash is the AI teammate that lives right inside Slack and actually delivers finished work, end-to-end, specifically designed for business operations. If you're a founder or you're in ops, marketing, sales, or customer success, this is exactly what you've been looking for. Instead of spinning up these temporary per-project task bots, like that incumbent model we talked about earlier, you just hire Dash once. He operates as one loyal teammate who reads your workspace, takes action in a totally secure environment, and drops the completely finished result right back into your chat.
I want you to think about this staggering number for just a second. Over 1,000. That is the number of tools Dash connects to with just a single click. Think about it. To get real work done, an AI absolutely has to be able to touch your systems. Dash natively connects to over 1,000 tools, plus he has a browser fallback. And he does all of this without forcing you to write complex, finicky prompt formulas or build out some convoluted automated workflow. You literally just tell him what you need, and he has the hands to go directly into your tools and just do it. Let's break down the exact competitive advantages that secure Dash's number 1 rank. First off, he lives where your team already works. You just mention Dash in Slack or DM him exactly like you would a human coworker. There is literally no new UI or app to learn. Second, he acts as a shared company brain. He has this persistent team memory, which means what he learns while helping out the sales team directly benefits the ops team later. That context compounds instead of just resetting every single time you open a new chat window. Third, and honestly this is absolutely massive for operations, inline approvals. Dash actually asks before doing anything risky. Any mutating actions route right through a simple inline approval button directly in Slack, keeping a human safely in the loop. And finally, flat pricing. There's no per-seat math to worry about and no hidden per-project meter quietly racking up a massive bill in the background. It is built and priced for actual real-world teams.
This quote right here perfectly encapsulates the underlying philosophy of Dash. Own the context, rent the intelligence. You see, Dash is model neutral. He isn't married to just one specific lab's frontier model. The true value for your business isn't the underlying LLM itself, because let's face it, those change and improve every few months anyway. The real value is the persistent, totally secure memory of how your specific company operates. By owning that context and just renting whichever intelligence happens to be the best today, your team's memory securely compounds over time. It's a total game changer.
Section 4, matching tool to the job. So the crucial point here is making the right choice for your own specific workspace needs.
Ultimately, all of this really just comes down to the specific job you need done. As we've seen, every tool we've discussed today is genuinely exceptional in its own specific lane. If your daily grind is deep in-browser research, you definitely want Perplexity Comet. If you're a developer shipping code, you absolutely need OpenAI Codex or Claude Code. If your top priority is full control, local hosting, and you want to build out the governance yourself, then OpenClaw, Hermes, Buzz, or QM are going to be your perfect fits. If you just want one-off project deliverables and you like that transparent per-project price, the original HyperAgent is exactly what you need. But, and this is the big but, if you are a whole team looking for finished business work delivered right inside Slack, complete with a shared memory, human-in-the-loop approvals, and absolutely nothing to host on your end, Dash is, without a doubt, the definitive choice.
I want to leave you with this provocative final thought. Which AI teammate are you going to hire for your workspace? The era of using AI as just some glorified search engine or text spinner is officially over. The technology has evolved from giving helpful suggestions to actually executing real end-to-end deliverables. The tools are here, they are incredibly powerful, and they are completely ready to be deployed today. So the only question left is, when are you going to stop asking for advice and start delegating the real work? Thanks so much for joining me for today's explainer, and I can't wait to dive into our next topic with you soon.